Jack Mollers je uticajni preduzetnik, software developer i snažni zagovornik Bitcoina. On je osnivač Strajka, kompanije za plaćanja Bitcoin i Lightning mrežom, a zahvaljujući ulaganjem u Bitcoin u svojoj ranoj fazi, kao i izgradnjom kompanija zasnovanim na Bitcoinu, njegovo bogatstvo procenjuje se na preko $100 miliona. Pogledajte ovaj video i saznajte Jackovo mišljenje o budućnosti Bitcoina na osnovu dosadašnjih događaja i kakva je paralela između ove i recesije iz 2008. godine.
Ovaj video sponzorisan je od strane Kripto Unity-a, startup projekta naših ljudi sa Balkana. Kripto Unity platforma, za razliku od mnogih ostalih menjačnica, pruža interfejs jednostavan za korišćenje sa tehnologijom hladnog novčanika, takozvanog cold walleta za bezbedno skladištenje kriptovaluta. Njihova kriptovaluta KAT, token menjačnice, je trenutno u pretprodaji i još uvek se može kupiti po sniženoj ceni, koja se svake nedelje do kraja pretprodaje povećava. Svi naši pratioci koji odluče da kupe preko linka koji se nalazi u opisu videa dobijaju bonus od 5% KAT tokena.
So now the fact that, do you think I'm strong enough to be able to throw this Gatorade bottle from here into the Philippines? No, I'm not, unfortunately. I'm 5'8" and I'm 150 pounds. However, I am strong enough, and so is everyone in the world, to be able to move Bitcoins from here to the Philippines, or from the Philippines to Nigeria, from Nigeria to Australia, right? And so it's the concept that you can actually settle physical value instantly and at no cost to the two independent parties that are conducting a financial service. That's a mind-blowing thing, because a lot of the speed deficiencies, right, like the delays and the costs that are with SWIFT or with a Western Union, are because of counterparty risk, because of the intermediaries, because of slow settlement between two nation-governed currencies. And so the fact that I can get something of physical value from here into the Philippines, all we have to do is build a really good user experience. That, here, how many dollars do you want? Get it to the Philippines. How many pesos are they going to get? And then you've totally reinvented cross-border payments. So I never get bored talking about this stuff. It's still, I can't wrap my head around it. The fact that I can get something of physical value and chuck it to the other side of the world. Never before have you had a physical bearer instrument that's digital. So now the internet can escrow physical values. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen countless videos among Twitter, maybe soon to be Noster, of people like paying for things. And I know you're famous for the one video of paying one of your engineers. You were sitting in Chicago and he's sitting in the UK, and you just send him, money with, no restrictions, basically. And I've even seen a lot of people paying. There was this one woman paying from Kenya into Nigeria, and she paid for this woman's like cupcakes. And it's just very cool, like the interoperable open protocol, basically. So I guess, what do you think the global impact can be on the adoption if it takes over the remittance market? I know you've kind of already integrated this with El Salvador in 2021 with your announcement. Now you're going to the Philippines, but just the broader strokes of what this can do for global Bitcoin adoption and its use case.
Well, I think, first of all, like what it can do for humanity, international payments is a massive industry, right? And so not only are you're making it cheaper and you're making it faster, which is huge. And by the way, it's not hard to sell, for the record. Sometimes Bitcoin in certain environments can be difficult to sell to a normie. Getting cheaper, faster payments is not difficult to sell. Many of the times, better exchange rates, and also it's more accessible. I can send a cross-border payment on Strike to the Philippines to the tune of $1. So it's more accessible, it's cheaper, it's faster, it's safer, and it's on this open network. So the economies of scale and the network effects that come with that are super unprecedented. So I think humanity improving international transfer and having more interconnectivity financially with each other, that's a huge deal. I mean, we saw what happened when there was more interconnectivity with communications over the internet. What the internet did for communications, I think Bitcoin and Lightning can do for monetary financial services. So I think we're in the early innings, like we're in layup lines of what's eventually going to come from international cross-border payments. And I mean, what like for Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin is like acid. Whatever it touches, it destroys and bleeds through. Bitcoin's going to run its course, no matter bull or bear, no matter what I do. We hope to be helpful, and I think Bitcoin can be helpful to people in a variety of ways. So we hope that we're delivering value using Bitcoin as a payments network to settle value. I think I'll stick with the internet analogy as long as I'm keeping it simple. How valuable of a company would Google be if they were the only website on the web? I'm no genius, but they'd be worth fucking zero, because there'd be no information on the web to index. And so a network is only as strong as its participants. I got to be able to pay someone else's invoice, and someone's got to be able to pay the invoices that I create. And so the concept is that the open network will dematerialize the closed bifurcated networks. You cannot possibly compete with that. I have more people working on my network than PayPal has on theirs. And you'd think to yourself, what the fuck? Strike isn't even 3 years old yet. How is that possible? Well, there's no Strike network. It's the Bitcoin and Lightning network. There are more people working on Bitcoin than there are on PayPal. And think about that for a second. If Dan Schulman, CEO of PayPal, said, hey, everyone that works at PayPal, you need to take 365 days away from the keyboard and go on a full year vacation, PayPal would not get any better as a company. If I were to tell Strike employees, we're not going to work on Strike for the next 365 days, Strike would be better. Our products, our services, our company would be more valuable in a year, whether we're working on it or not. There's going to be more nodes on the network, more pouches that spring up all over the world, more people integrating into point of sales, more wallets that could check out at our point of sale integrations. So it's such a powerful concept, that idea of open network effects and economies of scale. And Google, dude, Google's worth what, $1 trillion fucking dollars. The value to that business was built 30 years ago at this point, something like that, 20, 30 years ago. The product hasn't changed. What's changed is the value of the internet and the dense information that they're indexing on the web. That's what's changed. Google hasn't really done, of course, there's Gmail and stuff, but the ability to index and search the web is their core product, and that hasn't changed. What's changed is the size and the value of the web itself. And we try and operate the same way, is that I'm very bullish long tail on Bitcoin and Lightning. I think the value of this open value transfer protocol for planet Earth is only going to grow, and Strike is going to hopefully play a minority part, but it's not a winner take most or winner take all market. In fact, the part of the thesis is that there's going to be many, many, many winners in dematerializing the biggest industry on planet Earth, which is payments.
What has been this bear market been like for you? I know you've been around at least 10 years in this industry. So how does this stack up to other ones? More optimistic, more like this is going to be a long bear market? I know we don't need to speculate. You and I both don't know. We could say the price could go up, price could go down. It's going to go the complete opposite direction of whatever we say. But what are your thoughts on this bear market compared to other ones?
So I think a few things. One, the longer Bitcoin survives and is alive, the better news, right? Like, Bitcoin's not going away at this point. First bear market I saw was Gox. I remember running up to my dad's room and being like, is it over? And he was like, no, fuck, do your homework. But I thought it was over, and there was good reason for that at the time, right? Bitcoin was tiny. And now I think the more Bitcoin survives, I don't think there's not a soul on planet Earth that thinks Bitcoin's going away at this point. So I think you encompass that in a bear market. I don't know. This is one of the easier ones I've ever been through, just at how far along Bitcoin is in its life cycle. The one super interesting thing I think is this is the first bear market where it's also a bear market for the macro environment as well. This is the first recession Bitcoin's been through. So it's not just Bitcoin that's having a tough time. I'll tell you this, I've never been through a Bitcoin bear market where Netflix stock at one point was performing worse than Bitcoin. That I've never been through. And so I don't know, though. To be totally honest with you, as Bitcoiners, we're pretty seasoned and mentally and physically prepared for these type of markets. And I think Bitcoin, it's never been a more validating time for Bitcoin to exist and be as strong as it is. So I don't know, man. I'm confident, patient. I'm staying humble. I'm stacking sats. But that's the one differentiator is Facebook stock is more of a shit coin than any of these other things. But I think the really interesting part that I'm super excited to watch is how Bitcoin reacts on the back half of this recession. Because if you go to 2008, assets that have some relative fixed quantity, everything, by the way, between gold to like soybeans, like anything that has a relative fixed quantity implies that it does not have a direct relationship with interest rates. And it's a really important concept. And so Bitcoin has never been in this market. So 2008, if you're going to artificially inflate the strength of the dollar, which is what the Fed does, then I don't care if you're the scarcest thing in the world. If you're a 101 Van Gogh painting, like the Fed's going to impact you if they're just going to shock planet Earth with rates like this. But on the back half of it, so a la 2010, 2011 is where you start to talk gold and even soybeans, anything with fixed quantity start to decouple and really show off the fact that they don't have a direct relationship with interest rates. So I'm super curious about that, is that if you mark this recession, starting in 2022, it's like everyone can mock Bitcoin now, but mock whatever you want. Everything is having a reaction to the dollar right now. It's artificially strengthened. There's nothing you could do about it. It's part of the fiat world that I was born into. You don't blame me for that. But on the back half of it, man, Bitcoin's the most fixed quantity asset in the history of humanity. It's the only asset that has a guaranteed finite supply. Everything else, right, you can always make more of if you have enough of an incentive. So I'm super curious to see that. The version of 2010 that looks like it'll probably be 2024. We'll see.